Hey yo, NTrippy here, and welcome to Next Level, the YouTube series where we take your gaming to the next level. You're here because you want to learn how to get the edge in Warzone. In this video, we'll be talking through 5 sniper techniques that you can use while engaging in a sniper battle with someone else. In other words, we're going to be talking about peeking today. Let's get it. The first technique we're going to talk about is probably the most obvious. It's probably the one that everyone knows about already, so let's just get through it quick. And that is change your angle. It's never a good idea to peek the same spot over again if they're looking at you. Even if you just move a little bit between each shot, it'll force them to adjust their shot and give you the window of time you need to hit the shot before them. This clip right here is a perfect example of how switching positions can give you the advantage. So I'm shooting the guy on the right side. I was shooting him a couple times there. I quickly switched to the left side, and now I have the advantage here. Here's another one where I switched positions on the guy because I knew where he was and he didn't know where I was going to peek from next. I had the reaction time advantage. If you can, find a spot that they won't expect you to shoot from. Be creative, be unexpected. If they can predict where you will peek from, then they now have the upper hand. I love this clip right here because it highlights how you can use the most unpredictable spots to shoot at somebody. Nobody's gonna think you're gonna shoot under the dumpster here. Oh my goodness. Sniping in Warzone is all about time, often milliseconds, and in a sniper battle, it all comes down to who can shoot first. There are at least 4 key blocks of time that need to be accounted for when thinking about this. There's the bolt time, the time it takes to bolt the gun, the ADS speed, the time it takes to aim down your sight. There's the reaction time, the time it takes you to locate the target with your eyes, move your cursor onto the target, and then click the shoot button. And then finally there's the trajectory time, the time it takes for the bullet to travel to the target. These same time blocks apply to both you and the person who is shooting back at you. It ultimately all comes down to these 2 pieces and who can accurately hit the shot first. Now let's look at a graph. Look at this graph! Alright, so here I've gathered some data from the internet and from the game. So we have the total reaction time. This comes from a site called humanbenchmark.com. It's broken up into 2 different sections. So there's the seeing and clicking time, and then there's also the moving the cursor to the target time. They're actually pretty close to the same, and they add up to about 450 milliseconds. And then I broke it up by gun here. So we got the bolt time, the ADS speed, and the trajectory time for the HDR, the AX50, Kar98K, and the SPR208. These are all the bolt action sniper rifles in the game that could kill you with 1 headshot. So these are the ones we're going to focus on. As you can see here, the HDR has the fastest bullet speed, therefore it has the shortest trajectory time. Kar98K has the shortest ADS speed, and the SPR208 has the quickest bolt time. But ultimately the Kar98K is the best for peeking with the shortest overall time. I like to think of the time it takes for the enemy to take a shot as your window of opportunity, because it's the amount of time that you have to take a shot before they get a shot off on you. Looking at this graph, if you're fighting against someone who's using an HDR, you have a window of opportunity of approximately 3 seconds between each of their missed shots. If they're using an AX50, just under 3 seconds. If they're using a Kar98K, just under 2.5 seconds, and SPR208, just under 2.5 seconds. Something interesting to note here is the bolt time, the ADS speed, and the trajectory time are all relatively predictable and can actually be used to your advantage. And your enemy's reaction time is actually somewhat in your control. If you can increase your window of opportunity by any means, then you have a much better chance of coming out on top. Changing angles and being unpredictable like we talked about increases your window of opportunity by forcing the enemy to spend more time reacting. The next technique we're going to talk about is called quick peeking. It's where you peek out of cover quickly. This is a great way to gather quick intel on your enemy, especially when you know someone is nearby. If they know where you are and can take a shot at you before you know where they are, 9 times out of 10, you lose. That's why quick peeking is so important to snipers. Use a quick peek or 2 to find out exactly where they're shooting from and gather any other bits of information you can to use to your advantage. I use this technique all the time, and if you watch my stream on Twitch or my highlight videos on YouTube, you'll see me doing this a lot, and that's because it works. It reduces my exposure time by letting me locate them with limited risk and even aim at them while behind cover, if that makes sense. So you peek out, you see where their head is, go back behind cover, move your cursor to where their head is, then when you peek back out, your cursor's on their head, and all you need to do is click. with any minor adjustments. This is especially useful when they have the upper hand and you need to even the odds. Bringing it back to the graphs we looked at, if you already know where they are before you peek out, because you did some quick peeking prior, you have now decreased your reaction time. And if you've scoped in while behind cover, you've also removed the ADS time. Sometimes, like in this clip, you get lucky and they line themselves up for you when you're peeking out and you can just get the quick shot off. Another block of time that you can control with quick peeking is the unnecessary exposure time that happens while you're bolting your gun. Limit the enemy's window of opportunity by removing yourself during the bolt time. Bolt time is a huge chunk of your enemy's window of opportunity, so take control of it. If the enemy knows where you are, never expose yourself while you're bolting. It's just a good habit to have and should be second nature. Something else I love to do in the game is switch from using your SMG or AR to using your sniper between repeaks. It's what I like to call the bait and switch. You could even pretend like you're not good so they start to feel comfortable and confident, and then you switch to your sniper and bam, one shot them in the face. Sit down. And the last thing I'm going to talk about here about quick peeking is using utility to gather intel rather than quick peeking with your very vulnerable, non-bulletproof body. Don't peek if you don't have to. Ideally, use a drone so that you can figure out their exact position and live pin them. Be prepared to drop the drone immediately to get the quick kill. The third technique is one that is very underutilized, but from my experience has a very high success rate. If you know that somebody's hard scoping you and they aren't unpeeking between shots, then all you need to do is bait the shot and punish them when they're bolting. This works because their bolt time often takes longer than both your ADS speed and your reaction time combined. If you miss, just repeat the process. Here is a prime example of baiting the shot. There's this guy in a window, he sees where I am, I know where he is. I'm just gonna peek out a few times to bait the shot. As soon as I hear that bullet whiz past my head, I line up my shot while he's bolting and I kill him. Here it is again in real time. Remember though, that if they have a quicker bolting gun, then your window is smaller. If you can recognize the sound of the bullet, then you can better estimate your window and the risk involved. Otherwise, this will happen. See that? It's unfortunate. Surprisingly, this also works just as well if you get hit while you're baiting the shot, assuming they don't hit your head. It's definitely risky, but the time it takes them to bolt is usually longer than the time it takes you to line up the headshot, even with the flinch animation that happens when you get shot. If they don't take the bait, you can just punish them by quickly shooting at them first. This will require some practice and luck. Moving on. Technique 4 is one that is never advised, except in certain situations where it's the smartest choice, and that is hard scoping. There are at least 4 situations that I know of where hard scoping is the smartest option. Number 1, you re-peek and they're not there, but you're confident they're going to peek the same spot again. Number 2, they're cornered. Number 3, they're repeatedly peeking the same angle. It's really predictable. You have to kind of time the shot and shoot before their head's out so that the bullet hits them when it does come out. And number 4, there's a low probability of them killing you first. Like long distance shots, most people miss the first couple shots, and if you know how to aim, you're gonna kill them first. AR versus sniper, time to kill is much shorter with a sniper if you get your shot. You land a body shot first. Now your target area has increased drastically to their whole body, essentially, not just their head. Or you see them first. The reason that hard scoping works in these specific situations is because your cursor is already in the place where they will be before they even have a chance to set up their shot. In other words, you've essentially reduced your time to shoot to just the time it takes to see them and click the shot, which from our table is only 225 milliseconds. You've removed the ADS time altogether and most of the time required to move the cursor onto the target, since you already know where they are or can accurately predict where they'll peek from next. Like this one, check it out. This guy's pinned me down at a rock. He's in a window, he's shooting at me. When I peek out, he's not there. What do? I hard scope him because I know he's going to peek from that same window again. And because I don't have to look for him, because I've done my ADSing already, all I have to do is click and I've won the battle. Another important piece of peeking, especially around hard scoping, is watching for visual cues to predict where they're going to peek from next. Shadows are huge. Another thing is glints. You can also look for weapons that come out first. Shoulders. If they're slow peeking around a corner, just look for their shoulder. They're going to be coming from that direction. They won't see you until their head comes out. So just wait for their head to come in frame and click. In this example here, I think he's going to keep peeking on the right side because he keeps doing it, but then I see a shadow on the left, so I know exactly where he's going to peek from, and I win the game. On the flip side, never hard scope if they're already actively aiming at you, because now they have the time advantage and you don't. And finally, technique number 5, shoot first. I know that sounds easier said than done, but let's talk about it. If you peek out and notice that they are either not looking at you or haven't set themselves up yet, get a quick shot off before they have a chance to react. This is what I like to call catching them with their pants down. And then there's these kind of shots where you are just better than them. Once you're proficient enough with a sniper, you'll find yourself hitting more and more of these type of shots where the odds are against you and you still come out on top. Like a mouse. This example here is one of my favorites. So the guy is there, he sees me, I see him. I'm just better. I also have cover, and he doesn't. To recap, change angles, quick peek, bait the shot, hard scope when it makes sense, and shoot first. So there you have it, 5 different sniper techniques you can use in Warzone to take your peeking game to the next level. If you learned something and want more ways to take your Warzone game to the next level, remember to hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and comment below with any other sniper techniques I missed. Stay positive, and see you next time. Hey, if you're still here, I want you to write the word banjo in the comment section below, and we'll see how many people stuck around to the end like you.